Welcome to the Redline Report powered by Hiremaster. I'm Jennifer White, and this week we're talking about Hurricane Ian, the port workers strike situation, and Hiremaster Tip of the Week. Let's go. Inside the numbers this week, we're talking about something a little unusual, a different kind of metric than what is typically used to assess hurricane recovery needs. It's an unofficial metric the Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, uses to determine the level of assistance required for disaster recovery, the Waffle House Index. What is the Waffle House Index? In short, it's a way of looking at the availability of menu items to determine the movement of supplies in areas in the Southeast where hurricanes are most common. The informal index has three levels: green, which means the full menu and power are available; yellow, which means they have a limited menu and utilities; and red, which indicates stores are closed due to severe damage. At the height of the hurricane last week, 21 of its 435 locations were at the red level, closed due to being in the path of the hurricane, which is rare for a food chain that boasts being open 24/7. Why does FEMA rely on this unofficial metric to assess needs? The idea is that if Waffle House locations are still receiving supplies for their menus, others are most likely receiving their needed supplies as well. And according to FEMA, stores opening back up after storms like Ian are, quote, playing an important role in post-emergency recovery, allowing people to return to work and get back a little piece of normalcy, which can make a big difference, end quote. So if your local Waffle House is open with a full menu, especially if you're in the path of a significant weather event, that's a good sign the situation may be better than you think. Although Hurricane Ian was downgraded to a tropical storm, more than 2.6 million local residents have experienced imminent danger, facing heavy winds, rain, and no power. As of late Thursday morning's news conference in Tallahassee, Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis briefed the public of Hurricane Ian's aftermath. With roads and bridges having been washed out by the storm, the Florida Department of Transportation has been working diligently to ensure roads and highways remain safe for the public use. According to the Florida DOT, the majority of Interstate 75 will remain open with a few interruptions. In addition to roads and bridges, Hurricane Ian has affected major ports in Florida, such as the port of Tampa Bay. With Hurricane Ian moving towards Georgia and the Carolinas, the Georgia Ports Authority have issued limited day operations with severe weather warnings. The Port of Savannah's Garden City Terminal will operate from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's been announced that there will be no night gates and vessel service will resume Saturday morning. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, also known as the FMCSA, has issued an emergency declaration for disaster relief services in 7 southeastern states. The 7 states covered by the regional emergency declaration are Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, and lastly, South Carolina. The emergency declaration issued pertains only to commercial vehicles assisting in transportation of goods, supplies, equipment, and fuel. As reported by the FMCSA, commercial motor carriers and drivers providing assistance are granted temporary relief from Code of Federal Regulations Title 49, Section 395.3 for maximum driving time for property-carrying vehicles. Although commercial motor carriers and drivers providing assistance are temporarily exempt under the declaration, there is a stipulation. The stipulation states that, quote, when a commercial driver is transitioning from relief services to normal business operations transporting property, a 10-hour break is required when the total time equals or exceeds 14 hours that a driver is engaged in emergency relief or combined emergency/normal work. Direct emergency assistance ends when a driver or commercial motor vehicle is used in interstate commerce to transport cargo or provide non-emergency services, or when a motor carrier dispatches a driver or commercial motor vehicle to another location to begin business operations, end quote. The Florida Trucking Association will continue to provide updates regarding Hurricane Ian at floridatrucking.org /hurricanes. Although a tentative deal appeared to have been reached in mid-September, the tensions between the port labor workers and the port management appear to be heating up again. According to a recent CNBC article, the Pacific Maritime Association, which represents the ports and the ocean carriers, accused the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, which represents workers at the Port of Oakland and the Seattle-Tacoma Port, of a decrease in productivity amid the labor contract negotiations. The accusations, which appear to not be in line with production metrics, come during the fourth month of negotiations between the two sides. John Wolfe, Chief Executive Officer of the Northwest Seaport Alliance, noted last week that, quote, operations in the Northwest Seaport Alliance Gateway are running smoothly with terminals in Seattle and Tacoma operating at normal levels of productivity, end quote. Between the current challenges at the ports in the Pacific Northwest and the issues earlier in the year at the Port of Long Beach and the Port of Los Angeles, diverted cargo vessels to the East Coast recently made the Port of New York the busiest port in the country in the month of October. And many diverted cargo vessels are forcing carriers to reposition assets to accommodate the volume changes among these ports. As both sides continue to hurl accusations at the other side, a deal may be a ways off between the terminal and labor unions. In a new segment this week, the Hiremaster Tip of the Week, we're going to give you suggestions on how to improve your driver recruiting and retention efforts. This week's tip is to use your current driver base to find out why they chose to join your team and why they continue driving for you. Create anonymous surveys each quarter through tools like SurveyMonkey, Google, or Microsoft Form, and survey at least 25% of your drivers each time. This will provide you with great marketing material to connect with prospective drivers, as well as show you what you can do to improve the driver experience. Take care of your drivers, and they will take care of your customers out on the road and to tell other drivers how great it is to work at your company. And that's all for this week's Redline Report. I'm Jennifer White. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch each episode and leave us a like and a comment. We'll see you next time on the Redline Report, powered by Hiremaster.